sweeping across the country comes one of the great literary achievements of our time. A human, revealing, soul-stirring story that instantly becomes the most discussed novel of modern literature, The Grapes of Wrath. 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 As sales skyrocket, The Grapes of Wrath becomes the book of the nation. Everyone, everywhere, joins in the discussion of its vital problems. Due to this unprecedented popularity, producers vie for the motion picture rights. And finally, 20th Century Fox announces the purchase of the book and plans for its immediate production. A storm of discussion arouses the nation.
The winds took everything. Our money, our land, our crops, our families, but most of all, they took our hope.
Grandpa, what are you making me watch? You look so old and boring.
What you're calling old and boring, I call it life. Now, this is our people's history. Quiet down and watch.
It had been 4 years since Tom Joad knew freedom. He was in a new world now.
Wait, what? That's your name.
When searching for his family, he encounters his longtime friend, Casey. Together, the two men leave to the Joad farm. Upon their arrival, Tom is devastated. It becomes clear to him that even his family has been taken with the wind. Confused and worried, Tom meets a neighbor that hasn't left yet, Muley. Muley explains that the Joad family is at Uncle John's farm, and that they're making plans to head to California.
Why are they leaving?
Well, you see, Irvi, back in the 1930s, a lot of people had to leave their homes. In this movie, the Joads, they have to leave their home because of the rise of corporate agriculture. They're in the search for greener pastures, for better farming conditions, for a new place to raise their children.
What is corporate agriculture?
Well, corporate agriculture, it's using trucks, tractors, machines to harvest crops rather than people. You see, that's why the Joads had to leave. They weren't just looking for better farming conditions, they were replaced. Muley, leave this land. Leave this barren land. Come with us to California. There's new jobs, new farming opportunities. We can make a new life. Tom pleads with Muley to come with them, to leave the barren lands, to rejoice.
My family has lived here for 70 years. This is our treasure. This is our land. This is our blood, sweat, and tears.
Hey, wait a minute. That reminds me of a quote from the book. I wonder what it was. Oh, here it is. I wonder what Grandpa meant by this. I remember my aunt telling me something a long time ago. I can't put my finger on it.
The Joads are torn apart. Tom's words offer the promise of a deep, long-lasting connection that no tragedy can break. The archetype of a hard-working immigrant farmer is portrayed here. The immigrant farmers share the same stories. They are the ones that stand up for each other's rights. They are the types of folks that are generous and kind. They are the people that are strong-willed and persistent regardless of their circumstances. Steinbeck perfectly captures the tang of the 30s speak. There is a unique flavor of the Midwest, a smell of the farm, and a linger of my grandfather in between all these pages.
But the winds and the dust swept even a man like Muley away.
I had to hit that road.
The lure of new jobs and new wealth took the Joad family packing down Route 66, all the way down to California. The journey, however, was anything but easy.
I spent 10 years down in that old dust bowl. When you get that dust pneumonia.
Hey, wait a minute. That reminds me of a quote from the book. I wonder what it was. Oh, here it is. I wonder what Grandpa meant by this. I remember my sister telling me something a long time ago. I can't put my finger on it.
Grandpa Steinbeck had mentioned a story about a stubborn but determined turtle. Just like the Joad family, the turtle had not given up on his destination, even after getting almost run over by 2 cars. The atmosphere was so frightening and mysterious because even after getting run over by 2 cars, he continued with his journey. That takes a lot of courage, passion, and strength, something us kids don't have these days. Grandpa had explained it in so much detail, it was like I was there with the turtle.
Is this my life?
The journey to California was treacherous, yes, but upon arrival in California, the Joads were met with nothing but poverty, destitution, neglect, but most of all, death.
I thought life in California was good. I thought they had jobs and new land.
Well, the 30s were a time known as the Great Depression. A lot of places and people were affected. They were suffering. Money wasn't that common, and food, forget about it. We were lucky if we had 1 meal a day. Babies died because their mothers couldn't produce enough milk to feed them, and the elderly, they rotted away while we worried about what we needed to do with ourselves. And the dust.
Hey, wait a minute. That reminds me of a quote from the book. I wonder what it was. Oh, here it is. I wonder what Grandpa meant by this. I remember my cousin telling me something a long time ago. I can't put my finger on it.
Throughout The Grapes of Wrath, it seems that Steinbeck is emphasizing the importance of self-respect and sense of dignity. He is trying to convey the unfair treatments which the migrants were receiving. This kind of treatment does not simply create hardship for the migrants, but instead dehumanizes them, makes them seem less. As long as the migrants have a sense of injustice and anger against those who try to undercut their pride, their dignity will never be lost. For anger will always materialize into action. Wrath will always translate into change. You see, this notion is reinforced at the end of the novel, in the images of the festering grapes of wrath, in the actions of the worker women, watching their husbands and brothers and sons, knowing that these men will remain strong as long as fear can turn into wrath.
I had to pack up and go, and I just blowed in, and I'll soon blow out again.
Irvi, Tom Joad, he was my grandfather. This story, it first came out as a book. The book was called Grapes of Wrath. John Steinbeck was a friend of my grandfather's, and he wanted his story to be heard by the entirety of the world. He wanted everybody to know the struggle of a Dust Bowl farmer. He wanted everybody to know the struggle of my family. But when the book came out, it didn't do that good. People just couldn't believe that that's how severe the lives of farmers really were.
But it was all true. Why didn't they believe it?
Don't worry about that, child. Soon after it became really popular, a timeless American literary classic, a part of our history that we just can't forget.
How's that?
Well, you see, he talked about the hardships that all poor tenant farmers had to face. He talks about the working class, about struggles that had almost been erased from history.
Everything they faced was because of the callous, wealthy, and greedy landowners. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Grapes of Wrath, is it man versus the environment?
No, child. The story of the Grapes of Wrath is a story of man versus man. Don't ever forget that the environment was created by man, was created because of greed. Don't ever forget.
Wow, Grandpa, this is really amazing. I'm glad you showed me.
I told you, it's life. It's our life.